Okay, this hearing is called to order. Today is Friday, August 30th, 2024. This is the time and place set for the reconvening of the public hearing that began on July 29th, 2024 on the proposed adoption and amendment of rules pertaining to the Office of Public Instruction. I have this big script I have to read, so please be patient with me. My name is Rick Wooten, and I'm the presiding officer for this hearing. Montana law requires the presiding officer at rulemaking hearings to read the notice of function of administrative rule review committees. Administrative rule review is a function of interim committees and the Environmental Quality Council, EQC. These interim committees and the EQC have administrative rule review, program evaluation, and monitoring functions for executive branch agencies and the entities attached to agencies for administrative purposes. The Education Interim Committee has oversight with regards to rule changes proposed by the Office of Public Instruction. Interim committees and the EQC have the authority to make recommendations to an agency regarding the adoption, amendment, or repeal of a rule, or to request that the agency prepare a statement of the estimated economic impact of a proposal. The interim committees and the EQC also may poll the members of the legislature to determine if a proposed rule is consistent with the intent of the legislature, or during a legislative session, introduce a joint resolution directing an agency to adopt, amend, or repeal a rule. The interim committees and the EQC welcome comments and invite members of the public to appear before them or to send written statements in order to bring to their attention any difficulties with existing or proposed rules. Their mailing address is P.O. Box 201706, Helena, Montana 59620-1706. The initial notice of public hearing in this matter was issued by Elsie Arnson, the Superintendent of Public Instruction, and published on July 5th, 2024 in the Montana Administrative Register as MAR Notice number 10-7-124. The amended notice of public hearing was also issued by Elsie Arnson and was published on August 9th, 2024 under the same MAR Notice number. Complete copies of both notices will be part of the official hearing record. Concerned persons may present data, views, or arguments, either orally or in writing, at this hearing. Written data, views, or arguments may be submitted to Rick Wooten at the Office of Public Instruction, 1300 11th Avenue, Helena, Montana, 59601, and must be received by no later than 5 p.m. today, August 30th, 2024. Electronic copies of both of the notices of public hearing are available via the Secretary of State's website, and both notices provide an email address where comments can be submitted electronically. The Office of Public Instruction maintains a list of interested persons and the subject or subjects in which each person is on the list is interested. Anyone interested in being added to the Office of Public Instruction list of interested persons for future mailings regarding rules on this general topic or other areas of public interest, there is a sign-up sheet here in this room at the table near the entrance to the conference room. The purpose of this hearing is to collect verbal comments for and against the proposed rule changes and gather public input concerning the changes. If you are recommending specific language changes, please submit them in writing. This hearing is not a question and answer session. If you have technical or procedural questions, OPI staff will be available following the hearing conclusion. Following the close of comments, the Office of Public Instruction will, as required by law, summarize the comments made and respond to them. The summarized contents and the OPI responses will be published in the Montana Administrative Register as part of the rulemaking process, and the final adoption notice will be sent directly to each person or organization that makes a formal comment. The presentation will be statements of proponents, then opponents, and anyone else wishing to be heard. You may also submit a copy of your comments. Does everyone who wants a copy of the notice of public hearing have one? We have only one person in the room and you have the notice.
I do.
Has everyone who wants to comment or express support or opposition to the proposed rule changes signed in? And I see that we have that. I will call people from the list. And once I call you, please identify yourself for the record, stating your name, whom you represent. Before we start, are there any comments? Are there any questions regarding the comment procedure? Hearing none. The only person on our in-person list is Ingrid Lovett. So please begin.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wooten. My name is Ingrid Lovett, Lovitt, and I'm honored to be here representing Chaudere Children's Hospital as their Director of Government Relations. I would like to thank the department for their efforts to lay out rules for what was a very complicated process. There's a lot of calculations. House Bill 171 was essentially a cleanup bill. And with that comes all the complexities of all the things that were learned in the previous interim. It was mentioned in hearings in 2023, how the department had data to work with and how that has been integrated into these new rules. And also very important to these rules is the tuition responsibility. And I'll highlight in my comments, new rule to tuition responsibility. I believe there may be widespread comments from the whole range of stakeholders specific to this point, and others, we would like to echo those. And specifically on new rule 2, the Office of Public Instruction may assume a portion for a portion or all of the costs. It was very much discussed in the 2023 session that the portion of the state and the portion of the district was the intent. So possibly some language clarification could be used there. I think generally, unfortunately, the timing for the interim education committee meeting, their timing is September 16th. So I would urge the department and all the various stakeholders to utilize that meeting to really go through with a fine-toothed comb and make sure everything's on track so that these rules can be implemented, that they work well for all the various facilities and the finance team at OPI, et cetera. This school and these programs that we offer at Chaudere are so important to these kids. I think the cost could be much, much higher without a program like this. We are able to keep kids on track in school, provide a learning environment for them where they can succeed for the first time. Often for many of these kids, it's a very meaningful program, and this funding is very critical and very greatly appreciated. So just wanting to steward a set of rules where everyone and all eyes are really happy with how it's been done, and certainly willing to work with all parties to make sure that we get there. And just want to echo the comments of others potentially being submitted under this comment period, that possibly a little more communication is needed among all to fine tune a little bit. So I think that concludes our comments, and we thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. And is there anyone on Zoom who would like to comment? If so, just unmute yourself and take off. Hearing none, then finishing up with the formal part of the script here, which may sound a little bit stilted in the small audience, but is there anyone else who wishes to speak? Does anyone have written documents or data to submit at this time? I remind you once again that all written data, views, or arguments must be submitted so that the department receives them no later than 5 p.m. today, August 30th, 2024. Seeing that nobody wishes to offer further comments, I thank you for your participation and close this public rules hearing. However, as required by Section 2-3 103 of the Montana Code Annotated, the Office of Public Instruction provides an opportunity for the public to comment on any matter within its jurisdiction, other than regarding a contested case or other adjudicative matter, at any public hearing or meeting it conducts. Comments made now are not part of the record of the rule hearing that just concluded. The record still being made will serve as the official minutes of this portion of the hearing. Does anyone wish to comment on a matter within the jurisdiction of the Office of Public Instruction?
Not related to these rules.
Correct.
I guess I would just say, Mr. Wooten, since we're here, that we will want to carry through these rules and this structure and make sure that we work together to carry forward a very appropriate budget request. I know that the budget deadline's coming up, and so I just want to make sure that Shodair is in good communication with OPI and that we have a good budget estimate based on how the calculation was working this cycle, and just really help each other make sure we give the legislature a number that's as accurate as possible.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Seeing no further response, I adjourn this public comment portion. And we are now at 10:11 a.m. And we'll close the Zoom recording.